Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over the explosive price movements on Bitcoin as well as the bullishness in the charts. Although some altcoins are taking profits, you do see just a continuation of pumpiness across the board. And there's nowhere better expressing this pumpiness than the stock market, which is just neon green. I mean, it is just nuclear radiation glowing right now in response to those kind of positive indications from the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell that his work may be finally on track. And being on track, that does suggest that he could perhaps go a little bit easier on the markets in the future, which could give some chance for growth. However, he will continue to be increasing interest rates just at a slower pace than in the past. So this will suppress markets, and we will have a bear market for quite some time, most likely. Although the stock and crypto markets, sometimes they just try to do just crazy things. So we'll see how that goes, and if Jerome Powell has to smack us down again. But if you look at just what I was talking about 3 days ago, guys, 3 days ago, you can see price action hadn't even broken out of a downtrend. We were just going sideways and, to be honest, kind of looking pretty pathetic. Everyone thought we were going to dump to hell, but guess who, called for upside in this market? The good old Alpha fam. So I just wanted to thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for following the channel and all your encouraging remarks, as well as the comments in the Discord group where we talk about these things. Link in the description of the video if you want to join, totally free. And guys, just take a look at what I had to say. 145, there's a very good chance that we're going to be, popping up to around 17,500, maybe 17,800. And how do I justify that? Well, you probably saw a little bit of a preview earlier on in the episode here, where I did have this, this kind of inverted, head and shoulders marked out. Now, this isn't the best inverted head and shoulders. The most that we can say is that we have some price. Okay, well, there I'm talking about patterns. Of course, I was not basing that solely on a pattern, but on a momentum play. And of course, I don't really use like these type of like stupid internet calls like, oh, I called this, I called that. That's just completely BS. Of course, we're setting conditions. We need validations and then confirmations in order to make our plays work. And so, of course, I set the conditions for either bullishness or bearishness using momentum plays. And then we have validations based upon whether or not we can put 4-hour candles in those locations, or perhaps in this case of, fulfill a pattern, etc. And then we have confirmations. Does price action actually move that direction? Are the markets actually behaving, or is there some type of a wild card that may just invalidate the whole thing and just leave it unconfirmed? For example, Jerome Powell could just have said something crazy, right? We wouldn't have been able to predict that, and so we don't just make like a blind calls just to brag. We do conditions, validation of those conditions, and confirmations in order to take our trades using a momentum, volatility, price action, and also the good old EMAs, right? So guys, let's go ahead and take a look at, again, that was 3 days ago. I was projecting we would be in the 17,500 to 17,800 range based upon actual momentum and, patterns, as well as some probabilities based upon 4-hour volatility, which I showed you in the last couple of videos. But let's check out what I was showing just a day ago, where I was talking about that fake out to the downside, which did kind of bamboozle just a lot of, even some traders more experienced than me got bamboozled by it. But thanks to the system we're developing over here at the Alpha Fam, check it out. On the daily, Yeah, look, we really did conk our head on this 20 simple moving average, like I was showing you in the truth and advertising section. We just like bonked our head right on this moving average coming down here, and it just smacked us down. And we hit it so hard that we actually bounced the SMA up itself. So this is an interesting signal because um, we could end up, this thing could end up moving up and just pulling up the price action with it, sort of like over here. So there you go. Not only did I identify, several days ago, the likely price play that we're actually engaged in now, but I also identified the fake out, which then pulled us to the upside, all in a very timely manner, so that the Alpha Fam here at Alpha Commission could plot their entries and using a sophisticated approach, using many EMAs that most people probably ignore, using volatility on multiple time frames, using momentum calculations of 4 different types of momentum on 5 different time scales. We were able to not only get entries at the very pico bottom over here at 15,500ish, not only once but then twice. Of course, this one was a little bit more delayed. Hey, you get an entry over here, you can be a little bit conservative over here, right? And then we called the pullback and also the projected, likely first move in any upward direction. So we are absolutely killing it over here at the Alpha Commission. And again, I just appreciate everyone who has joined me on this journey. It's been a long 1 year in a bull and a bear market, and you guys are the real ones. Okay, yeah. So thank you guys a lot. It's been very encouraging, and I know I personally have improved my skills considerably, especially thanks to a lot of your feedback and tips that we all share with each other. Guys, let's just go ahead and jump to the charts to see where we're at, because of course we are following that line, that fake out, which I was calling, and then also the pump, which is now in my target area. And what you can see is that we are putting in a little bit of a struggle at this new bullish-ish level. You can see that candle just turned red, and that we do have some naked candles down here around 16,600, around here at around 17,000, let's just say 16,000, 950-ish. And so a pullback, especially to that 16,950-ish area, would not be unreasonable at all. And if we did just check back and retest this diagonal, then that is possible, and we would still maintain a neutral position, except it would kind of erase our bullishness. Now we did not check the top of this, ascending broadening wedge here, so I would think that we would make an effort at that. However, if we jump down to some lower time frames, you can see that we have, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 if you consider this, but 3 kind of peaks in this broadening ascending wedge. And the rule of 3 is pretty strong in crypto. Here you see 1 peak, 2 peak, 3 peak, right? 1 peak, 2 peak, 3 peak, right? And then you kind of get hints of this other stuff. And even here you have 1 peak, 2 peak, and then this third peak. And so the rule of 3 really does come up quite a bit. And if this thing did want to break down, it could easily break down into this estimated neutral to bearish-ish level, and this could have all been a fake out itself. So that's something that we have to be highly aware of as we go into tomorrow, which is going to have that PCE data, right? The PCE data is going to be released. And if that data is negative, if inflation is higher, substantially higher than what was expected, right? Just not nominally, but if it's higher than these numbers over here for these different categories, especially I would say we're going to be looking at the core PCE data, although the month over month is quite important. And that could just smack us down. This could all be just some type of weird, liquidity grab. And what I was talking about maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where you have a liquidity grab here, you kind of shake out, all of these shorts, and then you shake out all of the longs, and then you have plenty of liquidity to just bring us, perhaps all the way down to 14,000, 13,000, 12,000, right? Because the market makers at the exchanges, they just grabbed all of this liquidity, all of the money in this area. And so they're not going to take any losses driving the price down, okay? Even though you would think, oh, the price is going lower, so the exchanges should lose money too, right? No, because they took all of your liquidity. They took all of your liquidity. They have plenty of reserves to bring the market down, and they also have plenty of reserves to push it up. Okay, so it just depends on what the balance of the longs and the shorts are, and what's going to make them the most money. That's how these kind of over leveraged markets just kind of squeeze up and down all the time. There's just always up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, right? That's pretty much just liquidity getting constantly shaken out. And of course, I would expect us to get into that zone that I was talking about in the video, where that 17,500, 17,000 kind of, basically this solid bullishness is just kind of a natural limit that I see. So I do think that we could have one more drive up, at least. Okay, at least. But again, the PCE data is going to be king. The Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, left some wiggle room for the market to just get trashed down, and he used weasel words, which he can weasel out of his position, to relax on the markets. If that PCE data ends up kind of negating what he perceived in terms of basically getting inflation, starting to get inflation under control. So we shall see, okay? And it's never a bad thing to take your profits at these different levels that I have marked out here. We did have a drive up, and so there is a good spot to take some profit. For example, I'm in Doge, and Doge is, you can see, it had a nice drive up here. We've been quite profitable in it, and even yesterday, of course, we had a pullback, which is what I was suggesting was highly possible, and then it pumped 9%, right? Same thing happened over here, right? There's always pullbacks and then pumps. You want to wait until you get, to the bottom of a channel before you're going to buy in. You don't want to just buy in at the top or and it's kind of riskier to buy in at the middle. But you can see, like, I'm up, roughly 20%. And so it would be a good spot for me to take some profit. Looking like a little bit of a double top here. Don't know if we're going to be able to make that next push up. I don't know, right? So it's always a good thing to take a little profit. Yes, I had a target up here, but if I'm seeing a bit of a double top and I'm 20% up, 15 to 20% on any play is a good amount of profit. And then I can just buy into something else that's 15 to 20% down, right? Because you want to buy low, right? And then when it has a pump, then I can sell when it's like 15 to 20% up. That way you're consistently making money, as opposed to just trying to chase something to heaven. And yeah, you could leave in a moon bag if you really believe in the asset, or if you think like there could be some type of a god candle based upon Elon Musk tweeting or something like that. But if you're 20% up, you should probably take some profits. Now, this is just an example, so I'm not really trying to be specific to Doge. We can go back over to Bitcoin. And I did want to just to point out the key levels to watch, and I like to read them because I know some people's phones or their monitors don't resolve very well. In high definition, this is crystal clear, but on some phones, on some internet connections, it's very hard to read these numbers. So I do think we're going to lose all of our momentum under 15,720-ish. We will have a very solidly bearish bias underneath 16,125, kind of far away from there, but just a couple days ago, that's where we were. So, again, guys, like, just this thing can turn on a dime. So just really pay attention to these levels when I mention them. 16,125. I am going to have a bearish bias underneath 16,275. That's kind of the front runnable down level. We're still neutral around 16,525 because our Stokes won't have been broken or anything, and at least on the daily. But for bullishness, I do want to see us to hold above 17,170, essentially where we are. You can see we have this wick over here. That's not how I calculated it, but you can see we have this upper resistance right here, and then we have these wicks, so it's been both support and resistance. So this is a level that could take a little bit of work to get through. And if we do get through this level, we could have another pop, right? And maybe that pop could take us up to 17,750, where I would expect us to, accumulate some extra bullishness if we are able to break these wicks up here. So putting in some candles above this level, and this level may rise over time because this is a highly dynamic level, as well as this uber bullish level, right? The super bullish, above 18,858. I'm feeling like we could probably break this market to the upside on kind of a macro, and maybe this whole move was just a fake out to the downside because we will have just captured every bit of momentum to the upside, and it would be very hard for me to see um, how we could continue going down after building in a bullish structure like that. But that's still considerably far away. And although we're kind of 50% of the way there, so it is achievable. Just understand that. And you guys can't be perma bears. Don't be perma bulls. Just be clever little alpha monkeys. And guys, don't forget to take your profits, okay? Don't be loyal to these coins. These coins will not be loyal to you. Please put food on your table. Do not just accumulate coins blindly. Please trade. You don't know what's going on in this weird market. I'm not trying to give financial advice here. I'm just talking to my friends and family. But if anyone else feels any of this, is reasonable, then you can, of course, do your own due diligence and seek out your own advisors for your own financial condition. But for me personally, I don't feel any need to be loyal to any of these coins. I'd rather just trade them on a pump and then get into something else that's on a dip, and then keep trading like that on the way up. Um, and then if we do have a major, breakdown in the market, like if we do suddenly drop to a 14,000, if inflation reports are terrible, or the Fed decides to just do something, ridiculous, then of course, at least we've already taken our profit, and we're not just waiting around for, some magical 100K or something like that, right? Or some magical 100X, blah blah blah. Guys, I do see the possibility for some plays. One of the things that I was posting to the groups and also to my Twitter here was this possible accumulation wedge over here, which could have a target of $145 approximately on Quant. So if you guys are interested in altcoins, that's just something that I'm looking at right now. I am just kind of comparing it to a fractal over here. We do have a kind of a downtrend that it does look like it's breaking out of. Now this isn't perfectly drawn or anything. We do have this kind of exuberant peak back here, but it's a pretty interesting possibility that we're breaking out, and perhaps we could have some check back or break down even lower. But also based upon diagonals, we seem to respect this diagonal quite a bit. And so if we don't lose 102, even if we checked back to about 102, 105-ish, then I would consider that perhaps we really are going to just continue to bounce off of this diagonal line here. And this was a pretty nice turnaround in the market back in summer. And it looks like my computer has decided to crash on me, so that's going to conclude the episode. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Really, thank you for subscribing, and that's your alpha for the day. Stay safe. Hopefully, your computers don't crash on you, and happy trading.